As the NFL season comes closer and closer, we like to talk about what teams could contend in their conference. The NFC is as open as ever, as there are a lot of teams that could contend, like the Eagles, Lions, Rams, and Washington. They're talked about the most, but it feels like nobody is talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In 2024, the Buccaneers won the NFC South with a 10-7 record and ended up losing to the Washington Commanders in the wildcard round. I do not blame them or look down on them for that loss, as the Commanders went on a run to the NFC Championship game, but this offense was elite. They were 4th in points per game, 3rd in yards per game, 4th in rushing yards per game, and 2nd in yards per attempt. While Baker Mayfield had an elite season, I want to start with the rushing attack. In my previous video on the Jaguars, I talked about this, but their running game went from 32nd in yards per game to 4th in just one season. Rookie running back Bucky Irving is a huge reason for that, but the scheme they had with Liam Cohen was another. Now Liam left to be the Jaguars head coach, but new offensive coordinator Josh Grizzard was the team's passing coordinator in 2024 and helped design this offense, so I don't think much will be left on the table with Cohen leaving, as they will install a similar system to last year. Bucky Irving truly is elite. He led the NFL in yards after contact per attempt at 4.03 yards, had 1,122 yards and 8 touchdowns on 5.4 yards per carry. And this is while splitting time with Rachaad White, and only started consistently seeing a majority of the carries from week 10 on, excluding a game against the Raiders where he was injured in the first half. Truly an incredible and efficient rookie season for Bucky. But Baker Mayfield had his best season of his career and was far and away one of the best quarterbacks last year, and people are really afraid for him because of the new OC. But he was in the building, knows the offense, can help Baker have an elite season once again. Mayfield had 4,500 yards, 3rd in the NFL, 41 touchdowns, 2nd in the NFL, 16 interceptions, and was 7th in PFF grade last season. He's a true leader, just ask anyone in the Bucs locker room, no matter what the public tries to say, the guys love him. One thing about the Buccaneers and Baker's year that goes unnoticed is that no receiver played all 17 games, and he still played this well. Mike Evans played in 14, Chris Godwin 7, 14 for Cade Otton, and 13 for Jalen McMillan, and he had 4,500 yards with just Evans crossing 1,000 yards with only 1,004. That is truly impressive to say the least. Now they add Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State in the first round. You have a group of 5 guys who can make plays with the football and an offense known to scheme receivers open and make their lives easier. Now Chris Godwin may not be available for week 1, who knows as of right now though, but Egbuka will be the guy to step up in his absence. The offense is built on ball distribution, maybe because it had all the injuries, but it was still as efficient as they can get for a passing attack. The team had 7 total players have 300 receiving yards and 30 catches. It's a smart offense that, besides week 18 with Mike Evans, does not force the ball to players just to feed an agenda and is not predicated on bad decisions. Yes, Baker had 16 interceptions, but with the amount that he passed the ball and his gutsy play style, that is bound to happen. But if you want to draft Baker or put him in an entry, then you have to try Underdog. Underdog is the best and easiest place to play fantasy sports. All you have to do is pick between 2-day players, high or lower on their stats, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. If you sign up with code Fanatics, you can get a deposit match up to $1,000 and a free pick. Now imagine drafting Baker and Mike Evans as a stack who won their season-long fantasy drafts. That sounds amazing to me. Make sure you sign up with code Fanatics on Underdog. Emeka Egbuka is another slot receiver like Godwin, playing 81% of his snaps in the slot at Ohio State, and in spread sets, he could be a great wide receiver 3 or 4 to have on the field. McMillan is a solid all-around wide receiver 3 and had a good rookie season. These are 2 guys who can raise the floor of the receiving room and be good targets for Baker if Godwin's not the same, and Mike Evans' age finally starts to show. They're receivers the team can put stock into for their future, and GM Jason Light was very smart to draft these 2 guys in the past 2 years. Your star receivers are getting old, why not bring some guys in who will be there when they start to slow down or retire? This offense will be elite once again, most likely top 5 in scoring, because there are stars everywhere, and I mean everywhere on this offense. Baker was one of the least pressured quarterbacks in the NFL last year. The O-line helped Bucky get 2.7 yards per contact per attempt last season. There's so many pieces on this offense, like that offensive line, that just makes it work so fluidly. While they spent first-round draft capital on offense with Egbuka, they basically spent the rest of their draft taking defensive players to shore up a unit that was the definition of average, 16th in scoring and 18th in yards allowed. They were a really good run defense led by defensive tackle Vita Vea and linebacker Levante David, but their pass defense was absolutely atrocious. So what did they do to fix that? They brought an edge rusher Haason Reddick for $14 million, which who knows what he will be. Selected 2 corners at a value with Notre Dame's Benjamin Morrison at 53, and if it weren't for injuries, he would have been a first-round talent. And Jacob Parrish from Kansas State, as well as edge rushers David Walker and Elijah Roberts at pick 121 and 157. Their 2 biggest defensive needs were edge and defensive backs, so they were aggressive in making sure they got their guys and at a good value too. And this is all with Todd Bowles, a known great defensive mind at head coach, will get the best out of all of these guys, especially Benjamin Morrison. The last time Morrison was healthy in 2023, he was a top 20 guy in the class, was by far the best corner. He had a forced incompletion rate of 24.6%, which is amazing, and his passer rating when targeted was 59, which is almost like spiking it every throw. He's a press man corner, and although the Bucs only played man 19.6% of the time last year, 24th in the league, I think it was a personnel issue, not a preferred scheme. The two corners they selected are guys who can really play well in press man coverage. It makes me believe that Todd Bowles wants to play more man coverage in 2025, and if healthy, Morrison should be this team's cornerback one and help change the passing defense. They have a solid structure, they just need the right guys to come in and defend on the outside, so they were aggressive and make sure they got him. Now, I don't want to put too much pressure on rookies, especially one with a bad injury history, but if healthy, these are the type of guys that can make an impact on day one. Rotational edge pieces and two corners who can really be playmakers for this defense, but again, it all comes down to how they transition to the NFL and Morrison's injuries. Tampa's biggest issue is their schedule. While they have the 14th easiest in the league, they have 6 very difficult games from week 4 to 12. Philly at home, at Seattle, San Fran at home, at Detroit, at Buffalo, and at the Rams. But it gets easier from there, playing the Cardinals, Panthers twice, Saints, Falcons, and Dolphins after week 12. If they can go 3-3 during that difficult stretch, especially the road games, they can easily be an 11-win team. In 2024, they started off slow, going 4-6 through their first 10, but then went 6-1 the last 7. If they do something similar, they'll be a tough team to beat come January and could make a run into February if they stay healthy and the defensive additions work out. We all know this offense will be elite once again. While the scheme may change a bit, Grizzard, who was already in the building, and will be able to adjust when needed, and knows his personnel and what to do to maximize his guys, and I think he'll just do an amazing job with this team. Tampa can be a true contender in 2025. They made all the right offseason moves and have the guys in place already at most positions. Just need those last few to fill their roles and really bring this team to the national media and the rest of the NFC's attention.